So Anthony Joshua is going to be in Riyadh this weekend. He is going to be there ringside, no doubt, watching the Daniel Dubois Joseph Parker fight, crossing everything that Joseph Parker wins. Because if Joseph Parker wins, obviously there'd be an immediate rematch, you would imagine, for Daniel Dubois. In fact, I'm sure there absolutely is. But, maybe he doesn't take that immediate rematch, in which case then it's kind of opened. You'd imagine Parker would fight Usyk, but not necessarily the case. How binding is that rematch clause Anthony Joshua has for the Dubois rematch? Would it then transfer over to the Joseph Parker? Would that make it null and void? These are things we can talk about, if and when Joseph Parker wins. A big if. But he's going to be there nonetheless. There's been, Joshua at the start of the year was mentioned in Tyson Fury. He was mentioning him at the Ring Magazine Awards show. And obviously we thought that would be the fight that would get made next. We all kind of speculated. Then Tyson Fury announced he had retired. All right, for now. And then it was like, okay, what do we do now? Is it Wilder? Might very well be. He's in limbo pretty much now that the Curtis Harper fight was, I was going to say bizarrely, shockingly, that BLK don't have the funds to put up for that fight. Shocked. Madness. Who would have thought? Never in a million years. Moving on from him. We would wonder who he would fight next. But it was a question I had, really, following on from the Usyk Fury fight, really, was if Anthony Joshua fights, say it Tyson Fury or whoever, who would be in the corner? Would he go for Ben Davidson again? Would he go back to... his name was in my head there, and now it's Gonzo. I've heard the name Jonathan Banks mentioned. I've heard people say Angel Garcia. Derek James. Literally, his name was in my head as soon as I hit record, and then it just went blank. Would he go back to Derek James? Now, I don't know what the situation is with Ben Davison, right? I genuinely don't know what the situation is. But if Anthony Joshua was hell-bent on fighting Tyson Fury, and I said this at the time, if he was hell-bent on fighting Tyson Fury, and if that fight were to transpire, I'd have serious reservations if I was a member of Team AJ, or even AJ himself. I'd have serious reservations about a guy who is front and center. He's not in Tyson Fury's corner, but he's there at his fights. He's consoling him and telling him it's okay post-fight when he lost to Alexander Usyk. He's still firmly a member of Team Fury without being, in the camp necessarily training him. I'd have serious reservations about having that guy in my corner if I was fighting him. And to be honest with you, I'd have serious reservations of him in my corner moving forward irrespective. Because whether Joshua fights Tyson Fury or not, at the end of the day, that's still a rival of yours. And I'm sure there are coaches out there who would try. Someone like a Billy Nelson is a prime example. Trains Martin Bacoli, has always, I remember when he used to talk with Martin Bacoli, he beats Anthony Joshua, he beats Daniel Dubois, he beats Alexander. He never mentioned Tyson Fury, right? I get that, but he is a fan of Tyson Fury from the outside looking in, definitely. But he's not not integral part of the team, but he's never been in the team in that sense, right? He's never trained Tyson Fury, has been the head trainer and stuff like that. He doesn't have Ben Davison had a friendly bond with Tyson Fury. You could see they were mates. Would you want someone like that in your team? I mean, a lot of people have speculated, and look, I did think the advice he gave Anthony Joshua, certainly going into round 5 in the Dubois fight, was kamikaze almost. Shane McGuigan noticed that on commentary, I think, for BBC. So you would question things. You would question, okay, this is loyalties necessarily to Anthony Joshua, or who is it actually to, is one thing. Can he, listen, Ben Davison's a good coach. All right, I'm not knocking him in that regard. I'm not saying he's a bad coach. He's not. Look at the job he did with Lee Wood. Jazza Dickens fought the weekend. He beats Alpha Barrett. Jazza Dickens also has a win over a much, much, much younger Lee Wood. And I'm not talking about a young, inexperienced Lee Wood. I'm talking about a Lee Wood who roughly 2 years later became world champion against that guy. What was his name? Oh, wow. Was he Chinese? I can't remember the guy's name. But he beat him on Fight Camp, you may remember. And that's the Lee Wood we're talking about, so he's massive improvements. Josh Taylor looked the best under Ben Davison, in my opinion. You can argue he looked the best under Shane McGuigan, but certainly he wasn't that far off under Ben Davison. Joe McNally could be a great trainer, but he hasn't brought out the best in Josh Taylor, nor has he done for Gary Cully. It's fair to say. Fair to say. So Ben Davidson's a good trainer, but maybe he's just not the right fit for Anthony Joshua. He has him punching harder. He had him leading into shots more, but that didn't really do him. It did him okay against Francis Ngannou, a novice pro. Didn't do him too good against Daniel Dubois now, did it? So I wonder, is Anthony Joshua looking elsewhere? There's been talk of some kind of newer guys in the team. I seen on the Element group, I can't remember who it was. Someone mentioned him. I honestly, the trainer who was talking about, I'd never heard of. I think he was a British-based trainer, but I never heard of him. I have heard rumors about potentially return to Garcia. Again, these are all just things you'd hear on X and on the grapevine. How legit are they? We don't know. I would say, if I was looking at Anthony Joshua, I would say that under Derek James, certainly he was not as exciting as he was under Ben Davidson. It's fair to say. But he definitely, I noticed his footwork looked a lot better. His jab looked a lot better. He was so defensively minded against or under Derek James. That stood him in good stead. At the end of the day, I will stick my neck out on the line and say that had Derek James been in the corner with Anthony Joshua against Daniel Dubois, do I think he would have won? No. I don't think he would have won. Just looking at the styles and looking at what Dubois did, he would have still lost. However, I think he would have lasted longer, and he maybe would have stood a better chance of winning, maybe walking Dubois onto something, maybe. Because against Dubois with Davison in the corner, it was just kamikaze almost, it seemed. So Derek James is a good shout. Some would argue the best he's looked with any trainer is not even Rob McCracken, because I know some people are saying Rob McCracken. No. I always felt like you should have left Rob McCracken probably after the Parker fight, really. Even though he didn't lose that fight, that's it. Or maybe the Povetkin fight, because that was when you could have really done something with Joshua. Some would argue that the best he looked was under Robert Garcia, because he didn't fight him, but he had him in the camp, or the head trainer, for the Usyk rematch. And Usyk in the first fight was phenomenal. He was phenomenal that night. Didn't matter who was in AJ's corner. He was never going to beat Usyk that night. The second time around, Usyk wasn't as good. AJ did adapt a lot better, and he did look a lot better with Robert Garcia in the corner. It has to be said. So I think him being in the corner, it had a good influence on AJ. It's a shame in some sense that he didn't stick with him, that he didn't stay with him and maybe see out another camp. Because at the end of the day, having Robert Garcia in your corner against someone the caliber of Alexander Usyk, Alexander Usyk is an all-time great. He's undefeated. One of the greatest heavyweight in my opinion of this era, this generation, and one of the greatest of all time. So having him in your corner and you losing, that doesn't mean that he's not the right fit for you. You looked a lot better against Usyk second time around than did first time, even though you were still soundly beaten. So maybe that's something to maybe have a look at and think about. But it just got me thinking, Anthony Joshua, is he no longer with Ben Davidson? What's going on there? And if he does go for a new trainer, again, if we went through a stage and we were all screaming, leave Rob McCracken. Now it's just the case of, trainer. You're like, what the hell? Can't keep up with this. But he's in the twilight of his career. So, I mean, what's wrong with one last roll of the dice with a different guy in the corner? It's not like you're going to be saying in 2 years, 3 years time, now Anthony Joshua he needs to leave this. He probably won't be around in the boxing world that much longer. This might be his last year. Might be Usyk's last year. Might be Joshua's last year. Might be Fury's last year if he comes back. But you know what I mean. So, why not try new things now? I say go for it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed the video, people. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, I will probably do a live tomorrow. I'll try and do a live tomorrow. We'll try. Peace.